Hello everybody, welcome into the Rhapsody studio here in Anthem, Arizona. So glad to be with you again today for another episode of our Rhapspired video series. We like to take all of our folks here with Rhapsody, our staff, our instructors, everybody, and today we are very pleased to have Miss Jamilyn Hawthorne with us today. Thank you for being here. Jamilyn's been working here at our front desk and part of our performing groups and really has become an integral member of everything we're doing here at Rhapsody. So we're going to find out all we can about Jamie's musical journey and all the fun parts about it today. So we will start with the same question is, Jamie, what inspired you to get started in music?
Well, it's a tough question, you know. I grew up always like, my dad drove me and my brother to school everywhere, and we'd always listen to like classic rock on the radio, and I was like, yeah. You know, like my favorite song was a song called Jamie's Crying, because I was crying.
Jamie's crying, there you go.
Wow, wow, yeah. But into where I started doing music in school was, I was kind of at that age where I was just copying my brother on everything. So like he played flag football, so I played flag football. And then he started playing the clarinet, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I'm gonna start playing the clarinet, you know.
How many years apart?
We are like 18 months exactly.
Oh, okay.
Apart. Yeah.
Close.
So like he was doing band, and then 2 years later I started doing band. And that's the reason I chose clarinet, is because I just copied my brother. And I ended up really liking it, you know. And I did band and I started doing choir in elementary. And I continued doing clarinet, and he switched over to brass. So I was like the sole clarinet. I won the clarinet race.
I won! I like it. Good deal. Yeah, so choir right away, like in 5th grade also, or is that?
Yeah, like we had at my elementary school at Sunset Ridge, we did like a morning choir before you started doing choir as a class. So I would go to the morning choir early before school every day. And that was like, I didn't do that one right away. I kind of waited until like 7th grade.
Gotcha.
Because I just didn't really know what it was. And then my friend was like, oh, you gotta join it, you know. And so I joined it, and it was fun. And then I just started thinking and realizing like, man, I can sing. Like I learned that I could sing classical music, you know, like there's more to just the radio, you know.
Gotcha. So Dr. Coons was his band director, and who was it?
It was Mr. Denton.
Mr. Denton was there, yeah. What a great program those guys have built over the years. That's a really nice program to come up through. You started singing, doing that stuff. How did you like performing as a young musician, both either instrumentally or vocally?
I was very nervous when I first started performing. Like, I was definitely just super shy, you know. I had my first solo in choir, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna mess up, you know. But I ended up really liking it. You know, I started really enjoying it, and just as a group too, is just like hearing all those moments. I especially fell in love with it like right when I joined high school. It was a big change in just the dynamic, because obviously you're with a little bit more experienced musicians. And so like my freshman year, I always went to my brother's band concerts, because he went to Boulder because he's older than me. And so I always got to see the band concerts, so I already knew the program, you know, and I was like, okay, yeah, I want to be there. I want to be in that. And he really inspired me to audition for regionals. Okay. And so I was like, a bunch of the freshmen usually don't audition for regionals. Right. But I was like, I'm going to do it, why not, you know? And I was the only freshman clarinet that made it that year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
And it was just like a big eye-opener, because like regionals is even bigger than just our concert band, you know. It's like, whoa, I was just like introduced to music, you know, and that was the first time I've ever seen an orchestra too, because I got to watch that, and it was just amazing. Like I don't know, I feel like my passion for music kind of grew from there. Yeah. And I wanted to keep going and do that every year.
Very cool. Well, you know, when you think about that, the more of kind of the in-depth opportunities you get, there's just more to it. You know, when we're in elementary, middle school, there's a fun factor, right? I don't know if a lot of 7th graders are thinking like, music, and this is my future. You start playing with other musicians that really play, or you get where you've worked your tail off to achieve something, and all of a sudden there's a different thing there. There's something that binds us even a little deeper to that. So that was pretty cool. Did you sing in high school too? Did you do both choir and band?
I was the kid that did band and choir.
Nice.
it's funny how much the choir kids were like bashing on the band kids, you know, but I was just the mediator. I was like, come on, man, band's cool. But I did do, in choir, I auditioned into like the varsity women's ensemble my freshman year. And then I did honor choir, which is the top like mixed concert choir for the rest of my high school. And then in band, I did concert band, symphonic band, and then wind ensemble for my last 2 years. Yeah.
The upper choir, was that the one that was kind of like the women's Broadway Bound where they were doing the show stuff?
Yeah, it was like, because Broadway Bound.
What was that one called? I forget what that was called. What?
Broadway Bound and then honor choir.
Well, you did Broadway Bound?
Mm-mm.
No, the women's version of.
Oh, Bella Voce.
Okay, Bella Voce, the red dress.
Yeah. I never got to wear the red dress. I was a little sad.
No!
Yeah, they changed it to the black ones.
Oh, they did? I didn't know that. What, did the women's choir change also, or?
He kind of just
Black all the way
black,
up?
and then like this past year he did red, so I was like, dang it.
Oh,
But
yeah, no kidding.
honor choir was always black.
Yeah, a lot of props for those of you who came through high school that did both of those sides of the program. Because I do know that there was not a blending of those programs. There was not a lot of collaboration there, and even scheduling. Just the concept of how do I make that work amongst my academics, amongst all that stuff. So kudos to you for doing that. And again, I don't think I probably knew that until we had talked a little bit more here. But I was even more thrilled, and I want to find out a little bit. So this last session, and this session also, you and Alec and all those guys, you guys decided to get in to form a rock band, and you decided to be the lead singer. Was that the first time you ever did that kind of?
Definitely. Like, I've performed like one other like solo where it was just me singing.
Yeah.
Once, and then like otherwise it was with the choirs and stuff. But that rock band, I don't know. I was just super excited to do it. I was definitely nervous because I've never done that before.
Yeah,
but
you killed it. I mean, your stage, everything about your presence in front of the band, I'm like, holy cat, I would not have thought this could be Jamie, and you really just killed it.
It was a lot
really
of fun
good.
too.
Yeah.
Like it was just a fun experience too. Like I just had a good time the whole time.
Yeah, and the thing I've liked about observing Jamie, so she's talked about a couple of things. She's talked about starting clarinet, doing choir, getting her first solo, and then this year you also took on alto saxophone. And what the heck, at the first recital, you came out and played an alto solo, right?
Yeah.
So really, you talk about being nervous. You talk a lot about being nervous. But yet, you also take every single challenge that comes your way musically at the same time. And you just put your head to it and go for it. How does that mix?
I don't know.
I mean, that's really cool. Quite honestly, because I know I can think of some nervous times that there was no way I got through. I mean, I was like, I'm not doing that, thank you, because I'm just overgone. Every single time I've seen you, you just, okay, I'm just going to do it, right? Evidently you've said, hey, nerves is part of life. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to live my life. So what about music? What is the greatest thing about music? Can you come up with a Jamieism, little speech, little phrase that is, what is the greatest thing about music for you?
I personally, I'm a very like emotional person. So with music, it's not like you always say, it's not just notes on the paper, you know, and I definitely agree with that because I loved when my instructor would like explain the background of the piece or like the story of the piece, you know, because then like when you're playing, you can actually kind of feel or like just think about that, and it brings me so like it makes me so emotional. Like that's why I really like ballads, because usually they have such a like deep emotional story to it, or like you don't even have to follow that story, you can think of your own emotional story to it, you know. Music, it's all interpretational, and it just can bring such deep emotions like happiness, sadness, like anything. And I'm so passionate about music that I want to bring out that emotion into other people. Like I remember when we were performing this last year in Wind Ensemble, my senior year, we were playing like Our Castaways, and that's about like the animals and adoption, that story.
Yeah.
And like Mr. L put on this big projector, like all of our pets and stuff, and he explained the story, you know, and like there are people crying in the audience, and it's just so like it feels good for you, and just that the music brought that to them, you know. And it just I really like that because I've definitely been moved by music too.
Yeah.
I love emotion.
Got to be a huge part. That's a huge part. I know when we talk about this concept of inspiration here at Rhapsody, if I would break it down, that would probably be, and I'm probably not going to have that conversation with everybody, right? If we can inspire them to be excited to come here and to practice their stuff and hold up their sign if I finish my book and they're having fun with it, right? That's a huge step on that journey. But if I break it down, I'm agree with you. Because I remember when I was teaching high school, it was the same thing. I told the kids, they're all like, guys, we're not here about the music. We're here because of the music. Best musical experience.
Best musical experience. I have a couple in mind. One of my favorites was, it was this past senior year, and Mr. Warner, he's a big inspiration for like the woodwinds and the clarinets, and he was talking to me the past couple of years. He's like, I want to do a woodwind trio, and no one would do it for him, and I was like, I want to do it. And so it was a woodwind trio for a clarinet, flute, and a saxophone. And so I just had to find a flute and a saxophone. Turns out 2 of my best friends played the flute and the saxophone, so I was just like, please play this with me. And like, yeah, maybe I kind of forced them to do it a little bit, but they ended up enjoying it. And like the piece, it was called an Autumn's Trio, an Autumn's Tale, I think.
Okay.
It was by a Japanese composer, and it was just a really cool piece. And I've never heard anything like it before, and it's just one of the favorite pieces that I've ever performed. And like, oh, I loved it. And they ended up liking it too, like I was like, you guys, it's gonna be fun, we gotta do it. And it was so much fun, and I'm just glad that I was able to perform in like a small group like that. And we did it for solo and ensemble, so we got graded and stuff on it too.
Very cool, very cool. All right, other side of the coin.
Worst anecdotal or comedic worst memory of a music experience.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking about like, I don't know. When I was in symphonic band, we had this piece where it was me and my best friend Danny were in symphonic band, like as the main like clarinet people, and there was just this one piece and we couldn't figure it out, and it was the easiest rhythm ever, but it was just so weird and we couldn't understand it. But I was just embarrassed because I was like, I should know how to do this. I don't know, I can't really think of anything bad. I've always embraced like the hard times when we're performing. Like, it's definitely a big struggle and a big like time commitment to perform as well as we did, and so every day in class there was moments where it was just terrible, it was like we were having a really hard time putting it together, but it came out in the end. It became a beautiful piece of music.
Yeah. Well, I like that. For you to say that you can't really think of those worst things is not a bad thing, right? Because it is how you are putting the energy in and perceiving it, which is really cool. I like that. So you talked about your progression of music through 5th and high school and singing and stuff. What's coming up for you? What's in the future for you as far as music goes?
This upcoming spring semester, I'm going to be attending GCC for music performance.
Oh, nice. Performance. Look at you.
Yeah.
Very cool. What, there's a lot that can be involved in that. What's kind of that first step for you? I know you've been mapping out classes and stuff like that. What do they kind of have you jumping into from the first level when you're thinking about it?
Just basic like music theory, oral perception. I'm doing a music history class, which I'm kind of excited for that, to learn more about history about music, But I'm just super excited to be a part of a band again.
Yeah, right.
It's been just a little bit, and I missed it so much, so I can't wait to be in a full band.
Yeah. Are you thinking clarinet probably your primary focus? Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Well, that'll be a nice journey. We'll hear about that again sometime, I bet. We'll get you in a future video and figure out how that's going too. So awesome. Very cool. Well, what a treat having you here at Rhapsody. Pardon me. Well, people observing this video that hopefully get from you that sense of how important music is, kind of in that passion sense, in that ability to connect in a deeper level to a lot of different things. And that's the exciting part of having you here with us, is because really what are we trying to all be about? At some level, it's all that. We know that there's phone calls and we got to do this and all the things make this business run, but the reason we're trying to make this happen is so we can keep experiencing that sort of thing. So really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us this morning. Again, this has been Jamilyn Hawthorne, clarinetist, saxophonist, singer, rock band leader. She's filling all sorts of roles up at our front desk as well. So if you come in the building, make sure you say hi to Jamie. And again, make sure you're liking these videos and sharing them with your friends. We want to invite you again. If you have anything you'd like us to go over, anything particular you'd like us to talk about, maybe your favorite musical genre, maybe your favorite rock band, maybe your favorite artist, we could take this conversation really anywhere you want it to go. So let us know what you'd like to hear from us. You can email us at lessons@rhapsodyschoolofmusic.com. You can call us at 623-465-7060. We are on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and soon to be TikTok. So watch for the Rhapsody Music AZ handle all over the place, and get a hold of us and be part of what we got going on. This is all about the journey of music and inspiration and sharing something that is absolutely amazing with all of our people. So on behalf of Jamie, and again behind the camera, Miss Sarah, and the rest of us here at Rhapsody, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.